The birth of the man that will someday bring about Ragnarok and then destroy the world. The birth of the man that is recognized to be the worst criminal in the history of the war country of Elbaf. Ladies and gentlemen, the birth of Loki. Welcome to Haki Review, everybody. This is an awesome yet disgusting chapter. So fasten your seatbelt and smash that subscribe and like button to become a new Haki Nakama. Yamato, cover story. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. There is only one interesting question I have about this backstory. Is that how long has it been since Yamato met Kiko? Cause Kiko, she's jumping at Yamato. That's like, yeah, we haven't seen each other for quite a while. So what's your guess? 2-3 weeks? Maybe a month at max? And if so, maybe the Elbaf time theory is correct. The start of King Harald's life together with Dori and Broggy. Prince Harald spent his childhood days as a little delinquent troublemaker. He was so much bigger and tougher to everybody due to his giant blood. He was a savage that fought and destroyed everybody that went against him. He looked down upon humans and didn't have the consciousness to consider them as people. To him, they were like ants. And this for me sounds too familiar to the bastard up at Marijois, you know, the celestial dragons. As Harald and the giant pirates travel the sea, one day they go to the kingdom of Bant in the New World. And by the way, it is so crazy to me that the One Piece world still has places that we haven't seen or even heard about. Just goes to show you how big the One Piece world is. But in the kingdom of Bant, King Harald's life changed forever. They see a giant woman held in a cage, introduced to be from Elbaf. She looked like she was held captive by the humans, but in actuality it was just a play, and that giant woman named Ida was actually working for the humans. You see, some time ago Ida's ship got wrecked and the humans nurtured her, gave her food, but Harald didn't know that, so well, he ended up destroying the village and injuring everybody. Yeah. He takes Ida with him on the ship, thinking that she needs a ride back to Elbaf. Boom! She smacks the living crap out of him, telling him to go back to that country and apologize for what you did. These people were her friends. They were really kind to her. You can't do something like this. She's actually a giant from another part of the world, not from Elbaf. And she hates how the bad stereotype of the Elbaf giants affect the other giants around the world. So she ends up scolding Harald and changing his life forever. Harald, he saw how fearless this woman was. I mean, she's literally slapping the king of Elbaf, scolding him and telling him that your ways are dumb and you should change. He was going about life the wrong way and she changed him for the better. But also, I have to give credit to King Harald himself. Why? Because people don't like change. Be honest with yourselves, guys. How often do you change your own habits? Smoking a cigarette every time you got out of the car. Drinking on every weekend. Coming home from work and just playing video games. Is that it? Is that your life? But the point is, change is a hard and scary thing for most. But Harald actually heard what was coming from Ida's mouth, willing to accept and recognize that he was in the wrong and he needs to change that. She's telling him like, man, you just happen to be born strong. You happen to be born bigger than everybody else. It's not like you changed something in your genes or you did some incredible training. You're just born this way. You're born privileged. That doesn't make you superior. You're just blinded by your own arrogance. And as I told you earlier, most people unfortunately do not have the capability or the mind capacity of changing their life. Even when somebody tries to hammer it in their brains, they don't change. They don't see it for themselves. So that's why I gotta give him credit, because he actually listened to Ida. He recognized what she was saying. He was willing to go about stuff another way. He apologizes to the residents of Bant and he helps them reconstruct. He's now forming bonds with human beings. Something that was unheard of from an Elbaf giant. You know, because they're the country of war. They're the country of destruction, right? But there he is, dancing the Nike dance with his crew and all of the humans. Dun dun ta ta, dun dun ta ta, dun dun ta ta. We have to look at everybody as equal. That's why Elbaf is not no war country anymore. Harald wanted to change the beliefs of his kingdom just like he changed, integrating the giants to the other human societies, doing business deals, peace offerings, and overall just having a normal relationship with the rest of the countries. And I think this very much ties up with Big Mom's true dream. Big Mom's dream is having everybody sit at the table, eye-to-eye contact, and having everybody as equals. I do think that Big Mom was once a kind-hearted soul, but circumstances changed her forever. Much like Harald changed for the better, Lin changed for the worse. Moving on, Ida and Harald formed a bond and had their firstborn, Harudin. Now here's the interesting part. Harald was not allowed to marry Ida due to these 4 silhouettes that we see. These 4 silhouettes are not allowing the marriage. But the first question that pops up in my head, how do you have the power to tell the king of Elbaf who to marry or not? They're like, no, we have to have you marrying a pure-blooded giant. There is no way we can have you marrying a half-breed. That also makes a lot of sense since we see all of these 4 silhouettes having the ancient giant horns. Who are these people? Are they the first characters that we see from the heaven world? Because remember, there are 3 parts of Elbaf. The underworld, where Loki was held captive, the sun world, where all of the Elbaf villages are, and the heaven world, that we know next to nothing about. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get introduced to the epitome of the saying, do not judge a book by its cover. The character is Estrid, and the amount of hate I have for her is insane. She's like a beautiful and luxurious car, but when you go inside, it's like somebody hit it with the bat a couple of thousands of times. Yeah, that's what I mean. Oda kind of introduced Estrid only for the Loki plot point. And don't get me wrong, I do not want to see her more in this arc or frankly in this story whatsoever. But you see, the entire reason why everybody hates Loki and views him as this evil being is partly to do with his actions growing up, but mostly to do with his mother. You see, from the moment Loki was born 63 years ago, he was completely hated and rejected by his own mother and later on all the residents of Elbaf. She started calling him a demon. He's no child of mine. He's a monster. Don't you see his eyes? And then as soon as you like, okay, she's just a crazy mother. No, she's even crazier because she throws the poor baby off the cliff to the underworld. The tiny hands of the prince that stretched towards the sky never once felt the warmth of another's hand. Estrid, the disgusting little bit, is going to return to her homeland, never to give birth again, abandoning her husband, who I might say wasn't that all fond of her, but most importantly, abandoning her newborn son. And the panel of poor kid Loki climbing up the tree of Elbaf, the Adam tree, trying to find his way back to somebody that will never love him. That panel is one of the greatest panels in manga history. The facial expression on this poor kid Loki and the blood running down on his head makes you just want to tear up. No child deserves to be treated this way. There's nothing more sad than a baby being tossed away by its own mother the second it was born. Well guys, I was in the wrong. I guess Loki is gonna join the Straw Hats. I mean, Luffy just asked him last chapter, so it kind of makes sense. And Luffy's a pretty good judge of character, and also he was there listening to Loki's backstory, something that we have not seen from our main character Luffy. Luffy's not the man that judges somebody of their past. He only judges them based on their present decision making. So for Luffy, the easiest solution to free Loki was having him join his crew, because then Harudin can't say anything to oppose him, right? And also Scopper even mentioned to release Loki, so there is that as well. I guess Scopper recognizes that Loki can actually put up some work against the Holy Knights. Well, we'll see where we're headed, but I'm guessing that we have 1 or 2 chapters at most left on this backstory, and then we'll go back to the present day. But anyways guys, I really enjoyed these last 2 One Piece chapters, and I hope you did too. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far into the video, hit like and subscribe and become a new Haki Nakama. See you guys later. Peace! I like kebab, bro. The kebab is amazing, bro.